I wish to thank everyone who is attempting to watch this video. This is my first one that I've ever done. Uh, I'm not exactly sure what it is that I'm going to speak about, but I've had a lot of people who have told me that I need to make videos and that those things could be of interest to other people. Although I think just about all my information is already out there that I have. I didn't create it, I just found it. Pieced it together over the last 10 years. I've been studying conspiracies and magic, mysticism, religions. As you can tell from over here, I have a semi-significant library that that purchased, and I've read just about all of them at this point, and I don't really know what my beliefs are currently. I kind of go all over the spectrum. I do believe there are conspiracies in this world. I don't take the same view that most people do, however, on those. I feel that it's more like a circumstantial conspiracy than it is like them sitting there and they're plotting our demise kind of thing. The Illuminati idea and all that. I believe that thing is there, but I don't necessarily hold to the fact that it's that they're all trying to get us or something. So, um, although there is a lot of information out there that seems to kind of point to that direction, and I think that there is a lead that is occurring, that they're trying to point us in a particular direction. But to what end, I don't quite understand. You know, um, I as far as I can tell, it seems like it is world unification. I mean, the world is becoming more and more compartmentalized. It's becoming more, the United States used to be the separate entity, and then you've got, you know, um, Europe and all these other countries, and we were kind of separate things, and then the United Nations came in and kind of brought us together a little bit, and now as time's moving forward, it seems to be tying those two systems together a little more, so it's like we're working together, and a lot of people say, well, it's a big conspiracy thing, it's all about hurting everyone and all that. And I have to disagree with that. I don't think that it's necessarily to that degree. I don't think that all the changes are necessarily in the people's benefit. I think there are definitely some major problems that need to be acknowledged with the currency system and other such things. People who have mass wealth, it's just ridiculous and that. But I don't know what the answer is. I mean, I don't say rip it away from them because, I mean, what kind of system is that? I've studied mysticism for a long time, studied magic, and I'm a huge fan of Aleister Crowley, his works. I really enjoy researching the Golden Dawn. I find their ideas very intriguing. Um, they definitely are worth looking into, but I don't know to what extent the benefit is. Is it just a system that is meant to actually conjure things, or is it like almost like a weird archetypal system that is used to study psychology, to study an overall system of the universe, and to kind of piece it together, not necessarily with all the science. The science can be brought into it, but more just to actually take an overall view of the whole perspective, to try and see it as a entity, and so I don't know to what extent that goes. Um, I'm much better at working with questions that people have. So if you've got questions, feel free to post one. I'm a lot more apt to post one if you're willing to post a webcam of you asking the question, because, you know, I'm semi-uncomfortable doing this. I'm not used to being video recorded and that, you know. Like all people, we all think that our voice sounds like shite, and, you know, I think mine isn't that great, but, you know, at the same time, I'm used to hearing it from my own head, you know, I'm not used to hearing it from an external, so when I play it back, it sounds weird, but, and maybe it is, I don't know. Go ahead and poke fun. But, yeah, I don't know to what extent it all is. I have studied just about everything. I've studied Hebrew and Greek. I've translated the Bible by hand to an extent. You know, I'm no scholar or anything by that extent. I've read all the works of David Icke. I've watched all of his lectures. I highly recommend him. I think he's very interesting. Jordan Maxwell I recommend. Michael Tessarian I find very interesting. There are a ton. I mean, everyone seems to have a niche. I would say that those three kind of do a broader perspective on everything. And it doesn't mean that I agree with everything they say, but I think they have a valid point in most of it. It makes sense to an extent. I mean, even David Icke's, you know, they're reptilians that are controlling the whole universe kind of stuff. I mean, when I first watched it, it was one of the early things that I actually watched. I just came upon him by fluke. And I have to say that as I was going through it, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed his stuff, and about halfway through his lectures when he pulled in the reptilian thing, and I was like, I remember thinking to myself, oh my God, you know, what are you doing? You know, why are you making yourself crazy? You know, you were so great, you know. And I remember thinking that, and I thought that was just, you know, afterwards I kind of reflected on it, and I was like, well, wait a minute now. Just because that one thing sounded crazy doesn't mean I have to throw everything else out, because it all made sense, for the most part. And so after that, I became determined, and I said, well, you know, let's look at it. I mean, let's look at it honestly. You know, why would he come to such a conclusion? Why would he see things in that way? And I did this, and I started to see a pattern that I could see where he would come from with that idea, and whether it really was physical or it was just an analogy, I don't quite know, but it does permeate throughout history. I mean, you know, the reptilian genetics, the serpent, you know, all of that stuff seems to be, I mean, there's a lot of serpent worship. The Egyptians were obsessed with the serpents. You know, our medical system is the serpents, you know. So it does seem to permeate. And even in like video games and that, I noticed that it was quite intriguing, you know. You play like EverQuest or something, you have the reptilian race. You know, what is it? The Ixars, I believe it is. And, you know, you watch Conan and all these things. I mean, it does have it. It seems to come with it. And it is quite intriguing. Why the serpent? Why is that our thing? Why is that the one that continues to be it? You know, why isn't it the panda bear religion, or you know, the following of, I don't know, the dogs? I mean, I guess you could do the dog star as part of it and that, but serious. But it always seems to be that's the primary. You know, I mean, you can find all the other permutations scattered a little bit, but that one is very, very common in a lot of sections. I mean, you don't have to look very far to find it. And then you get the secret societies, the Masons, and all this stuff. And again, I have no aggression towards them. I don't feel like they're the enemy. I think that the people that do that, they don't know what they're talking about. You know, they're just jumping the gun on it. You know, they're assuming that they're the enemy. You know, everyone wants to find someone to point the problem with. You know, oh, we know that there's a problem in the world, so it's got to be somebody's. Whose is it? You know, it's the Masons, it's them, it's the Golden Dawn, it's Aleister Crowley's work, it's the president, it's whoever, you know. And I can't take that. I mean, you know, they may have influenced, they might have influenced some of these things and brought them in, but it doesn't make them